What's going on, everybody? Katie here, and welcome back to the 11th official episode of the King Darius Experience. I'm going to be talking about something that I slightly made up right before we started this episode, and it's called behavioral anatomy. And the reason why I made this up, and I believe that behavioral anatomy will help creators create within the business and marketing world, is because business itself tends to be overcomplicated, right? So people put way too much emphasis, way too much gravity on things that are actually pretty simple to understand and easily beneficial if you execute against them. But there are too many or so many variables within business when it comes to brand positioning, marketing, advertising, sales, and business development that people just kind of get jumbled. They think of campaigning, marketing, advertising, the collective need of their business as this overall conglomerate of a blueprint that's just, unsolvable. And they're trying to figure out the master, formula for accomplishing success within their business. And it's just not possible. But what is possible is you understanding all of the little behavioral moments that make up the overall collective experience of growing a thing healthily and profitable for you. So with all of the variables in business, right, you could do everything correct, everything textbook, everything fully optimized, post at the right times, create the right content, have the most optimized UX, UI landing pages and marketing and web platforms. You could have the perfect marketing automation system in the back end to follow up and nurture them and guide them on the path to purchase. Then you could cross-sell and upsell and, maximize things. And you could do all of that and still have variables that knock you off of your center or cause you not to quite understand why a thing didn't go a certain way or why it didn't perform the way that you wanted it to. And that's where behavioral anatomy comes in, because it's really not as complicated as we make it. So I like to think of behavioral anatomy broken down into like a box, right? And when I say behavioral anatomy, it's the process of understanding what makes up behaviors, both on your side and the user's side, in individual moments. When you're creating content, when you're on social media, when you're in a negotiation, when you're doing a biz dev moment or a selling moment, when you're creating a website, all of that kind of stuff. And the reason why I'm creating a box is because in order for behavior to take place, you have to enter something, right? Somebody comes in a door, lands on a page, there's some type of behavior that they enter into your little ecosystem, right? When they are in your ecosystem, what can they sense, right? And when I say sense, hear, think, see, feel, taste, smell, all of the things, right? What can they do within that box? Only what's inside of the box. How did they leave the box? They either have to go out the way they came, go out of the exit, or break out of the side of the box, right? So in the marketing world, there's a lot of things that refer to this behavioral anatomy or this process of 1 to 3 actions for every one marketing moment, and that's like if this then that, or things related to that nature. But essentially what it is it just means when you're thinking about something, can you break down the behavior it takes to then align that for your goal and objective, like we talked about in last episode. Can you create a social media post? Can you create a platform? Can you create something innovative to where you get what you want at the end, because you understood it's not that complicated to integrate technology and to set things up and to make landing pages and to, optimize your social media editorial and your content editorial. Those things aren't that hard when you understand the behavior you're trying to evoke by executing against those things, right? So I always say that the best marketers are salespeople and the best salespeople are storytellers. And the reason why I believe this is because part of guiding people through one box to another box to another box is the continuity of that, is the episodic nature of that, is the cascading nature of that. How do they talk to each other? How do your little widgetized behavioral anatomy, behavioral marketing boxes talk to each other? So you take somebody from one moment entering in, and if they exit, they go this way. If they exit this way, they go that way. If they come back out the way they came, when they go to this box, they're a little bit more nurtured. They have a different experience. So you're literally just creating these widgetized moments of behavior, ecosystems of behavior. And all of your tools, all of your pages, all of your content, all of your media, they only serve any 1 to 3 actions at any one given time. So your job is actually to adjust really, really fast. Once you set a thing up, in its most simplest form. I need somebody to fill out a form. I need somebody to contact me. I need somebody to DM me. I need somebody to call me. I need somebody to like my post, engage with my post, comment on my post. I need this, that, and the other thing. Okay, great. Put that thing in a box. How can you get somebody to that box? Once they're in the box, how do you get them to consume, sense, engage with the thing in the box? And when they've done the thing you want them to do, where are you taking them after that? Then after they go to that next place, how are you getting them in there? What are they doing once they're in there? And how are they leaving there? And then if you start thinking like this, you start putting building blocks that make your marketing efforts, your sales efforts very sophisticated. And it creates an overall user experience, an experience for your customers, your forward-facing audiences that aren't customers yet, your leads coming in. It creates an experience that's actually quite enjoyable and it matches their behavior. So when I say things like you need to meet them where they're at and match their behavior with valuable content, that's what I'm talking about. When you're on Instagram and you're trying to leverage, like we've talked about several times, the reason why I say, what are you doing, is because stop trying to leverage. They didn't go to Instagram so they can then go to your website, right? It has to be an astronomically dope anomaly for somebody to be like, oh, sweet, let me actually hop off of Instagram really quick and go cop these new off-whites or whatever it is, right? It has to be some exceptional product or something that really captures their attention, which is why clickbait is a thing. Because essentially marketers ruin everything by, oh, I know this title will catch their attention because it's related to a topic, a trend, or whatever it is. So I'm going to create content optimized around that thing only to switch and not connect value on the other end or deliver something that is contextual or relevant to that user's experience, aka clickbait, aka bait and switch. So there's a huge difference between what you want in your marketing and business and what people actually behave when they come in contact with your marketing business. And your ability to understand the behavioral anatomy, I can't even say my own phrase I made up, behavioral anatomy of your users and of your customers or potential customers, your understanding of that is going to allow you to optimize that, to maximize that, to tap into it, to pull from it, and benefit from it, right? Everybody wins when you understand the behavior it takes to get from point A to point B, because this is the ultimate reality for creators. Just because people aren't buying from you, just because they're not engaging with your stuff, just because they're not following you and sharing your content, does not mean that they are not behaviorally doing that with other people. This is like by far one of the largest misconceptions I've ran into over the last decade as I've helped people with marketing and business, sales, advertising. I've mentored people. I've learned from people and had mentors and business coaches and all that kind of stuff. And it's one of the most common mistakes that people make. People just aren't interested. This marketing just isn't working. It's this, it's the product, it's the service, it's the positioning, wrong timing, wrong CEO. No, they're giving their behavior to somebody, to something. They're giving their time, money, and resources to some brand, organization, person, somebody they trust. They are continuing to behave. They're not stopping to wait for you to catch up to their consumerism, right? Consumers will behave. Humans will behave. So if you understand the behavioral anatomy in your individual moments, you can tap into behavior that's going to happen anyways. They're going to spend their energy somewhere, and their energy comes in multiple forms. Energy of their attention, energy of their resources, energy of their money, sometimes energy of their people, right? This is what people do. We generate energy and then we exert energy, and we do the same thing with the things that are around us in the relationships that we have. So I want you to think about how can you think through behavioral anatomy, study it, focus on it, define it, blueprint it, and then execute against it for your marketing. So episode 11, I will see you tomorrow in episode 12 of the King Darius Experience. I don't fuck up.